Good morning, my friends. Welcome back. This is week 33. I thought I would just start you off with a lovely picture of my bougainvillea. I cut a few stems yesterday. They're already starting to wilt. I didn't even bother with water. I just needed a table piece. But I just thought I would pull you back and show you all the things I'm saving, all my little things on my plates here. Uh, this is actually chopped up vegetables and fruits that have been pureed and then frozen, and I'm going to feed those to my worms. But back to what we're doing here, which is our challenge is to save and rescue 2,000 pounds of fruits and vegetables scraps from our own kitchen. If anybody else wants to donate to me, they can. But I put them in. Sometimes I pulverize them and then put them in little forms. That's the fun of it. Uh, Gardening should be an entertainment to us, and recycling, it would be wonderful if we could make that a hobby and entertainment also. So this is basically banana peels and strawberry tops. We had broccoli. It's all been frozen, and I'm starting to let it thaw out, as you can see. I wanted to mention to you, if you are doing something like this, I'll get back to point in a minute. Take your labels off if you're giving this to either your worms or to your garden. They don't really break down. You can just easily remove them and discard them. So, but anyway, 2,000 pounds, and it's fruits, vegetables, flowers, any of our carbon that were papers, anything that we can shred or put out as it is. Toilet paper rolls, paper towel rolls, cork. It comes from a cork tree. If it comes from a tree, it's biodegradable. My popsicle sticks, I save those. I use them as plant tags and all sorts of things. Even my nail files, anything that I'm using that would go in the trash is now going into my worm bins or into my compost. One thing did want to show you was that I trimmed my bushes. Actually, was part of it was bougainvillea, but I trimmed the viburnum and crepe myrtle. I did this in two different batches, and Rick brought out the mower. He mowed it once, took it out, laid it down on the grass again, and then mowed it again. And when you mow it that second time, you can still see some leaves there, but it really does. Look at that. Now, Sandra at Nana's Worms and Garden, she asked me if I give this to my worms. And I thought about that, and I thought, wouldn't that cause the worm bin to heat up even more than it already is? We're in the 90s still here in Central Florida, and I would hate to add a bunch of this as bedding. But I was thinking what I might try doing is putting some in a bag and freezing it and causing it to go down to that, what is it, the cellular level when it breaks down so much easier when it thaws out. So I might try that. That might be a nice idea. On the other side here, I wanted to remind you, for those of you who are going along with this challenge, which I would love it. I would love another channel to say, hey, let's challenge ourselves. This is the liquid from the peas and corn, and you can see it's actually getting kind of like a little, let me get down there close, getting almost like a little gelatinous little coating to it. This is the corn. It's a day older. We were on a can kick here. But and you can see that if there's any little gnats in the house, they're drawn to it because it's sugar. There has to be sugar in that water. So I actually add this to my watering cans, and then I give that to my plants. If you have anything stale in your pantry, you know, you can empty it into your worm bins, you could empty it into your compost. Quaker's oats, we really only go through about one of those at the most all during winter, you know, December, January, February, March. And we might want some hot cereal versus cold cereal. And so usually if Publix has a buy, they'll have a buy one, get one. I end up buying two, and I think I used to have the second one sit around for the second year. It wasn't bad. Or I would make uh, um, oatmeal cookies. And, you know, we're trying to eat less uh, sugars and things like that. So oatmeal cookies are kind of off the list. My friend Priya over at Evergreen Gardens, she mentioned the one time to me that when they use rice, when they cook rice, which they cook rice very often in India, she rinses hers. And if you take that rinse water, it has vitamin B in it, which is always good for adding to your plants. Also good for rinsing your hair, patting your face. It's good for your skin. Um, my, excuse me, my cereal boxes, I cut in half and put through the shredder. I know some people say, well, that has uh, colors to it, and I think if it's safe enough for humans, because how many people hand the box to their little kid, and he's sucking on the end of it? I'm sure if it was not safe, we would not have that type of food grade coloring. The bags I save, and I'm going to, and I put them in the freezer, you know, because it's an airtight uh, bag. Of course, it just needs something to keep the top closed, but which is the end of it. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to take this and fill it with my greens, and then put those in the freezer. So there you have it. There's so many more things that we could save that would go into our recycling, and we would have a little more control over how it's recycled because I keep hearing about, oh, well, you know, if you have a laundry detergent container and you don't wash it out, well, then that can screw up the whole load. And I think, how many loads of recycling are actually making it to its final destination? And that, my friends, is kind of today's discussion is that we don't always have control over things in our lives, but those things that we do, uh, let's take them and make benefit of it. Just to go through everything, uh, this is August, this is week 33. We've been doing pretty good. We're not really meeting quite meeting our 40 pounds a week goal to get to 2,000 pounds for the end of the year. But but we're not bad. And anything is Jane over at Rock and Worm says close enough is good enough, and I think that's a great expression because it reminds us that you know, we're not all perfect. There was only one perfect person, and I'm not Jesus, so you know, I'm just doing the best I can. Anyway, just to go through this, um, we did have our neighbor Brian bring down some grass clippings. Rick saw him on was it I saw him on Wednesday, and Brian said, "Well, I'm not sure. I might cut on Thursday. I might cut Friday." But you know, he was kind of going wishy-washy. And Rick said, "You know, Peggy goes to press on Sundays," and I thought that was such a cute expression. And the next morning, Brian got up and cut his grass, and it wasn't quite a whole week, but it was only 25 pounds of grass. I was hoping for 40, but I'll take 25. Anyway, the whole week we ended up doing 45 pounds, 1.4 ounces. And the way we got 20 pounds was I did a lot of trimming. I did that a couple times. Rick cut our grass, of course, and I'm still collecting plumeria leaves. My plumeria blooms are falling still out there. I don't save those leaves because those leaves have a milky, kind of a latex interior in the leaf, and also they pick up a fungus every year that is it's just impossible for me to control. I've tried different ways. I've tried neem oil. That it hardly even slowed it down. And my backyard is very contained because we have the preserve back there, and we have the big pine trees, and I have a fence on each side, and I have neighbor yards on each side, and I just seem to be like a little closed in microclimate that is more moist than most. Um, during the summer months, I'm a degree or two cooler because I have all the trees. During the winter, I'm a degree or two warmer because I have all the vegetation and what I have growing there. So anyway, I don't save those, but I do save the blossoms, and I wanted to show you how I incorporate those into making leaf mold. But I'll do that, I think, probably tomorrow. But anyway, real quick, I think I told you everything. Oh, eggshells and things like that. I'm sorry, I missed that. Eggshells are good for the grit. If you have a worm bin, it helps the worm. They take it in and use it in their cropping gizzard, and it helps to pulverize. If you don't, and you've got if you have a compost pile, it does kind of the same thing with the worms you might get into your compost pile. It also adds calcium to your plants. If you have a problem with snails and such, if you grind it almost to the diatomaceous earth stage, and then sprinkle that around the base of your plants, you'll find that it keeps down any snails. I think I've told you everything. Vacuum cleaner, we take that now and we add that into our worm bins because it's dirt, it's soil. It can be recycled. I think that's probably about it. I think you guys probably know the routine better than I do. Anyway, just real quick then, this was week 33. We did 45 pounds, 1.4 ounces, and that brought me up to 1,226 pounds and 6.3 ounces. So we still have shy 775 to do in 19 weeks. So I might be close. I might not make it this year, but if I do, it's because you've been watching and you've been supporting me. And I made the comment to you that, oh, I do this stuff anyway. And I said to Rick, I don't think so. It was really hot this week. I really didn't feel like it. But there I was out there in 90-degree weather, trimming the bushes, so I got an extra. I think I ended up getting this, and another time I ended up getting 5 pounds. And I went, whoa, 5 pounds. It was like 2 something one time and 2 something the other. And so if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be pushing myself quite as hard. So it's your fault. Anyway, I hope you all have a great week. It's getting towards the end of August. This is the 18th of August. We're getting into August, September. That period of time is when we have our high hurricanes. Oh, excuse me. still early and I'm still yawning. And I'm still having my dose coffee for those of you who are interested. Yes, this 7 months, I'm still drinking it. And they use a coffee extract that gives 55, what is it, with your coffee, your caffeine level. Most coffee has 150, 200, and this has 55. So it's right there with maybe a tea. And it's still very good. So anyway, long story short, that's it. I hope everybody has a wonderful Sunday. I hope you'll come back and see me during the week. I promise to do something with showing you my plumeria leaves and where they're actually going and how they're like melting candy. It's like cotton candy. When it gets wet, it melts down. I'll show you something. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. And remember, garden what you've got. Bye-bye.